Ashura Majalis held in mosques and Islamic centers in London, Hounslow and Luton. Large number of mourners attended the Majalis. Mourners say sacrifices of Hazrat Imam Hussain and his companions to be remembered till end of time. Hundreds of people gather at Hounslow Mosque in London to observe Martyrdom Day of Hazrat Imam Hussain. Ulama says Martyrdom of Hazrat Imam Hussain alayhi salam is guiding light for Muslim Ummah. Iraqi Shiite Muslims mark Ashura with self-flagellations. People march through streets of Baghdad and Basra before dawn and beat chest to show their grief. Thousands of people attended 9th Muharram processions across the country. Mourners pay homage to martyrs of Karbala by reciting nohas and beating chests. Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry says government has invited to Saudi Arabia to become third partner in China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Plan. Information Minister says high-level delegation to come to Pakistan in first week of October. Fawad says pact with Saudi Arabia to be transparent and clear. Chaudhry says Saudi Arabia's King Salman bin Abdulaziz has ensured kingdom stands besides Pakistan. Indian Ministry of External Affairs says Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj and her Pakistani counterpart Shah Mahmood Qureshi to meet in New York. Spokesperson says decision taken in wake of Imran Khan's letter to Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Imran Khan writes to his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi and seeks resumption of dialogue. Imran in his letter calls for a meeting between Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj and Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi on sidelines of United Nations General Assembly in New York. Trump administration mulls over restoring Pakistan's security funds. Imran Khan's election as Prime Minister opens doors to reset relations between the two countries. Prime Minister Imran Khan says Pakistan wishes to help eliminate tensions in Muslim world. Premier says Pakistan desires to play role of mediator in Middle East and willing to play part in ending Yemen conflict. Khan vows to stand strong with Saudi Arabia and says kingdom has always held Pakistan out of tight spots and past. British Prime Minister Theresa May appeals to European Union leaders but no sign of Brexit deal. European Union leaders to discuss issue among themselves over lunch.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You're watching 92 News HDUK. My name is Muhammad Yasir Rizwan.
And my name is Faik Mahmood. Talking about Muharram al-Haram. In the beginning of the bulletin, Ashura Majalis were held across Britain in mosques and Islamic center in London, Hounslow and Luton. A large number of mourners attended the Majalis.
More in this report by Ghulam Hussain Awan.
Several Majlis-e-Aza were held in mosques and Imam Bargahs in London and Greater London. These were attended by a large number of people, including children and women. The speakers highlighted the sacrifices of the martyrs of Karbala. Talking to 92 News UK, Maulana Nazim Ali Khair Abadi said Karbala had a message for all humanity.
सब्र वो जौहर है जो आदमी को हमेशा कामयाबी की जानिब ले जाता है और यही वजह है कि आज इमाम का पैगाम पूरी दुनिया में पहुंचाया जा रहा है और कहीं कोई ऐसा नहीं है जो इमाम के पैगाम से इनकार कर देता हो।
Another majlis was held at Ali Mosque.
इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम ने पेश की करबला में अपने बच्चों, अपने ख़ानदान और तमाम दोस्त अहबाब के साथ, और अगर ये कुर्बानी ना होती तो आज हमारे पास नमाज और सलात और रोज़े ना होता।
कुर्बानी जो मौला ने दी है वो हर दौर के लिए दी है, और हमें ये चाहिए कि हम देखें कि हम इससे क्या हासिल कर सकते हैं, हम अपने आप में क्या तब्दीली कर सकते हैं, इसकी सबसे बड़ी चीज़ है।
The mourners say the sacrifices of Hazrat Imam Hussain alayhi salam will be remembered till the end of time.
A conference was held at the Hounslow Mosque in London on the martyrdom day of Hazrat Imam Hussain, with whom Allah was pleased. While addressing the conference, ulama said the martyrdom of Hazrat Imam Hussain is guiding light for Muslim Ummah. For more on this, have a look at this report made by Ghulam Hussain Awan.
A large number of Muslims attended the conference. Sultan Ahmad Ali, one of the speakers at the conference, told 92 News UK the sacrifices of Hazrat Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his family are a source of inspiration for all Muslims.
इमाम हुसैन रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हु की जो शहादत है वो ना सिर्फ इस्लाम की तारीख़ में बल्कि इंसानियत की और इंसानी तहज़ीब की तारीख़ में बहुत एक अहम वाक़या है, और उसके तीन बड़ी वो चीज़ें हैं जो आज की कौम को और आज की यूथ को एक डायरेक्शन दे सकते हैं। सबसे पहली बात ये कि अगर आप अपने आप को हक़ पे समझते हैं तो चाहे आपके सामने या आगे पीछे कोई दोस्त अजीज़ साथी खड़ा है या नहीं खड़ा, आपको अपनी स्ट्रगल जारी रखनी चाहिए।
The speakers called for unity among Muslims.
हमारे इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम ने इस दीन की खातिर क्या क्या कुर्बानियाँ दी, अपनी जान की कुर्बानी दी, अपने ख़ानदान की कुर्बानी दी, और किसके लिए? इस दीन के लिए, अपने नाना के लिए, उनके दीन की सरबुलंदी के लिए।
रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के अहले बैत की अजीम कुर्बानियाँ हैं जिसकी वजह से आज दुनिया में दीन कायम है।
ज़िक्र हुसैन के साथ किरदार हुसैन को अपनाते हुए हम अक़वाम आलम को इस्लाम के आफाकी पैगाम से रूशनास करा सकें।
हमेशा बातिल के ख़िलाफ़ डट जाने का नाम हुसैन है और डट जाने का नाम हुसैनियत है। मैं समझता हूँ कि ये क़यामत तक ये हुसैन का ये जो दर्स है, कुर्बानी का दर्स है, अपनी औलाद करबला के मैदान में उन्होंने उसको शहीद होने दिया, लेकिन दीन पे हर्फ नहीं आने दिया।
The speakers said spreading the message of Karbala was the best way to serve the cause of Islam. The conference speakers said that the martyrdom of Hazrat Imam Hussain alayhi salam was a guiding light for the Ummah.
The 9th Muharram ul-Ihram processions across the country, including Lahore, Karachi and Islamabad, concluded peacefully amid tight security on Saturday. Thousands of security personnel have been deployed in the provincial capital and other sensitive districts to ensure peaceful observance of Muharram ul-Ihram. The 9th Muharram processions across the country, including Lahore, Karachi and Islamabad, concluded peacefully. Mobile phone services were partially suspended in several cities, including Karachi, Lahore and Peshawar on Thursday. Cellular services were suspended on the routes of 9th Muharram procession. Pylon riding has also been banned till 10th of Muharram.
Hundreds of Iraqi Shiite Muslims observed martyrdom of Hazrat Imam Hussain on Thursday.
Men and boys marched under banners through the streets of Baghdad and Basra before dawn, beating their heads and chests to show their grief and chanting Haider, brandishing swords and long daggers and chanting ever more insistently. The pilgrims then chopped gashes into the top of their heads and let the blood flow down their faces in a ritual echoing the suffering of the martyrs of Karbala. Wearing white smocks over black shirts and trousers, and sometimes with a white banner around their heads, they were quickly splattered and sometimes completely drenched in blood. Hazrat Imam Hussain embraced martyrdom in the Battle of Karbala in AD 680.
More news stories lined up right after a short break.
Stay with us.
Welcome back after the break. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj and her Pakistani counterpart Shah Mahmood Qureshi will meet in New York this month, Indian Ministry of External Affairs said on Thursday.
India's Ministry of External Affairs has confirmed that Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj will meet her Pakistani counterpart Shah Mahmood Qureshi in New York. Qureshi and Swaraj will meet on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly meeting later this month. Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar said agenda for the meeting was yet to be finalized. He said officials from both countries will decide the venue and time for the meeting. India has accepted the Pakistani Prime Minister's suggestion. The spokesperson said the meeting will take place on Pakistan's request.
पाकिस्तान के रिक्वेस्ट के बाद हमने ये तय किया है कि हमारे विदेश मंत्री और पाकिस्तान के विदेश मंत्री के बीच न्यूयॉर्क में यूएनजीए के साइडलाइंस में ये मीटिंग होगी.
The spokesperson said the decision was taken after Prime Minister Imran Khan wrote a letter to Indian Premier Narendra Modi. He added that the meeting will not affect Indian policies. This is just a meeting. It should not be seen as negotiation, Kumar said.
Prime Minister Imran Khan has written a letter to his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi and sought a resumption of dialogue between the two countries. The Foreign Office said the Prime Minister has written to Modi in a positive spirit. In this letter, the Premier called for a meeting between Indian Minister of External Affairs Sushma Swaraj and Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly.
Imran Khan has written a letter to Narendra Modi and sought a resumption of dialogue between the two countries. Foreign Office spokesperson Dr. Muhammad Faisal said Imran had written to Modi in a positive spirit. In his letter, Imran called for a meeting between Indian Minister of External Affairs Sushma Swaraj and Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, scheduled later this month. The Premier stressed that the two foreign ministers should initiate the resumption of dialogue. The letter is believed to have been written in response to the Indian Premier's letter greeting him on assuming office. Diplomatic sources said Imran's letter acknowledged that the relations between both the countries faced several challenges. It also said that Pakistan was ready to resume talks on all issues including terrorism. Sources familiar with the developments said the letter proposed that India and Pakistan should look to resolve all outstanding issues including Kashmir, Sar Creek and Siachen through dialogue.
Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry said on Thursday that the government has extended an invitation to Saudi Arabia to become the third partner in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Plan. Chaudhry denied any deal behind the release of Nawaz Sharif, saying that the former premier was out on bail, but the case against him had not concluded.
Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry said that the government has extended an invitation to Saudi Arabia to become the third partner in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Plan. The minister was addressing a press conference where he said that a high-level delegation will come to Pakistan in the first week of October. He said that upon the recommendation of the Saudi monarch, a high-level committee has been formed. In the visit to Pakistan, Saudi delegation will comprise Saudi Finance Minister and Energy Minister, said Chaudhry. Fawad said that the pacts with Saudi Arabia will be transparent and clear, and huge investment will be done from the other side.
हर मौके के ऊपर पाकिस्तान और सऊदी अरब जो हैं वो इकट्ठे खड़े होंगे. सऊदी अरब वो पहला मुल्क है जिसको हमने सी पैक में तीसरे पार्टनर के तौर पे शमूलियत की दावत दी है. सऊदी अरब जो है वो बराह रास्त इन्वेस्टमेंट करेगा. कराची में जो पानी के तरसील के मंसूबे हैं उनके ऊपर यूएई की हुकूमत जो है वो अपने वफूद जो है वो भेज रही है, और कराची में जो पानी की तरसील का मामला है वो यूएई की हुकूमत की मदद से इंशाल्लाह उसके ऊपर जो है वो बातचीत जो है वो की जाएगी. हमने तो हिंदुस्तान से भी बातचीत की जो है वो बात की है और हमें खुशी है कि उस तरफ से भी मुस्बत जवाब आया है.
Chaudhry denied any deal behind the release of Nawaz Sharif, saying that the former premier was out on bail, but the case against him had not concluded. No country asked the government for Nawaz Sharif's release. He said Nawaz is not such an important figure that Saudi Arabia would speak for him. Neither there would be a deal nor any relaxation would be given, he said, with regard to the cases against Nawaz and his family.
Nawaz Sharif साहब जो है, अहम बात ये नहीं है कि वो 6 महीने, साल, 2 साल, 3 साल जेल में रह लें. अहम बात ये भी है कि वो जो ख़जाना लूट के लेके गए हैं उसको वापस लाया जाए. ना तो हम नवाज शरीफ और मरियम नवाज को पाकिस्तान से बाहर जाने देंगे और ना ही इसहाक डार हसन और हुसैन को पाकिस्तान से बाहर रहने देंगे, जिसकी वजह से भी ज़मानत हुई है। इंशाअल्लाह ताला उसके ऊपर उसको ख़त्म किया जाएगा और नवाज शरीफ साहब को वापस वहीं पहुंचाया जाएगा जहां पर वो कुछ दिन पहले थे। ना डील होगी ना ढील होगी और इंशाअल्लाह ताला जो पाकिस्तान के अवाम का पैसा है वो पाकिस्तान वापस लाया जाएगा। छोटे चोर के लिए अलहदा निज़ाम है, बड़े चोर के लिए अलहदा निज़ाम है। सऊदी अरब का मैंने पहले आपको वाज़ेह कर दिया था, नवाज शरीफ इतने अहम नहीं है कि सऊदी अरब उनके लिए ऐसी बात।
The minister said that Pakistani courts were fully independent. He said that Prime Minister Imran Khan did not have personal enmity with the former premier and his daughter Maryam. He, however, said that they had been looking into the flaws in the NAB's prosecution, which he said would be addressed. He said their actual aim was to bring back looted wealth of the country.
The conflicts among Muslim nations weaken the fraternity. Prime Minister Imran Khan said on Wednesday he was giving an interview to an Arab media outlet. Khan said Pakistan was willing to mediate on the Yemen dispute. Khan also said he admired the Saudi Crown Prince's anti-corruption drive and wished to launch a similar initiative in Pakistan.
Speaking to Arabia TV following his meetings with King Salman bin Abdul Aziz and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Khan said there had never been a holiday for him ever since he had assumed power in August. Given the matters requiring his attention at home, he said he had resolved not to travel abroad for 3 months. He said only now had he managed to make an exception for Saudi Arabia.
Prince Salman did in Saudi Arabia, because white-collar crime is very difficult to fight, because people who steal a lot of money have big lawyers, they can hide their money in offshore accounts. It's a very long process to retrieve the money. But in Pakistan, we have now set up a task force, which is to retrieve our money that has been taken out of Pakistan and stolen.
Khan praised the leadership provided by the Crown Prince, particularly his anti-corruption campaign. He said Pakistan needed to follow Riyadh's suit in this regard. Khan said Pakistan was going to be the best investment destination once some governance issues were fixed. He said there was a need for a change in the mindsets. He said the government needed to spend more on health, education, water supply and provision of justice. Khan said he was determined to institute reforms so nobody was above the law. Once the governance issues were resolved, he said he would have more time at his hands, time for his family.
Shown our support for the Saudi government, but at the same time we feel it's very important that there should not be any conflict in the Muslim world. Already we have, starting from Libya to Somalia to Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan has suffered a lot. Conflict in Muslim world is weakening all of us. And so what ideally Pakistan would like to play a role of putting out these fires, of reconciliation.
The Premier said Pakistan was willing to mediate to resolve the Yemen conflict. He said conflicts among Muslim nations served only to weaken the Muslim fraternity. Khan said Pakistan wanted cordial relations with all its neighbors. Khan also vowed to support Saudi Arabia, saying the kingdom had always supported Pakistan in its time of need.
And the Trump administration is mulling over restoring security assistance to Pakistan. The Washington Times reported on Wednesday. The newspaper said Imran Khan's election as Prime Minister had created the opportunity for a reset in relation.
The Trump administration is mulling over restoring sensitive security assistance to Pakistan. The Washington Times says Washington is divided over reconsidering President Donald Trump's policy to withhold security assistance for Pakistan on the grounds that nearly 2 decades after 9/11, Pakistan is ready to reconsider its willingness to provide safe havens to terrorists. David Hale, the former US ambassador to Pakistan, had earlier remarked that the serving of security funds was an absolutely terrible decision. The Trump administration has said that Pakistan has sacrificed a lot in the war against terrorism. Earlier this month, the US made its final decision to cancel $300 million in aid to Pakistan that had been halted over what the former claims is the latter's failure to take decisive action against militants.
The 975th ghusl ceremony of the shrine of Hazrat Ali Hajweri, properly known as Dataganj Bakhsh, were performed here on Thursday. Punjab Chief Minister Sardar Usman Buzdar performed the ghusl ceremony by washing the grave with rose water.
The 975th ghusl ceremony of the shrine of great saint of subcontinent Hazrat Ali Hajweri, popularly known as Dataganj Bakhsh, was performed here Thursday. The ceremony commenced with the recitation from Holy Quran. Qari Sayyid Sadaqat Ali recited the verses from Holy Quran in his melodious voice. Naat Khan Margoob Ahmad Hamdani recited Naat. The ceremony was attended by Punjab Chief Minister Sardar Usman Buzdar, Minister for Industries and Trade Mia Aslam Iqbal, Provincial Awqaf Minister Peer Saidul Hassan Zulfikar Ghumman, Religious Affairs Director General Dr. Tahir Raza Bukhari, MPA Nazir Chauhan, Akbar Durrani. Chief Minister and other officials performed the ghusl ceremony by washing the grave with rose water. The floral wreath was also laid at the grave. Special prayers for security and prosperity of the country were offered on this occasion.
आलम इस्लाम पर करम फरमा, इलाहा आलमी दुनिया के मज़लूम मुसलमानों की गैब से मदद फरमा, प्यारे वतन मुल्क पाकिस्तान को इस्तेकाम अता फरमा, तरक्की अता फरमा, वसअत अता फरमा. The ceremony is performed every year on the 9th of Muharram ahead of the Sufi saints' annual Urs ceremonies. Strict security measures were taken on this occasion, which were monitored by Zulfikar Ghumman.
An ambulance service criticized by a coroner over the death of an elderly woman has bought 30 second-hand ambulances to cope with winter demand. Margaret Stemp, 91, was left lying on the floor for 7 hours last December after phoning for an ambulance following a fall. The performance of South East Coast Ambulance was then criticized by the coroner. The SACAM said it had been struggling with winter pressures. It said second-hand ambulances would not be used for emergencies but would free up existing ambulances to respond to urgent calls. It also plans to purchase 101 new ambulances over the next 3 years and recruit 300 new staff.
Traumatized London residents who had lived in the vicinity of Grenfell Tower have been given an ultimatum by Kingston and Chelsea Council about returning to their homes. Residents evacuated on the night of the fire last year who lived in the walkways or in nearby Tregold or Barnley houses, an area of low-rise housing connected to the tower, are due to receive letters from the council on Wednesday or on Thursday. The council says that they are expected to make a decision by the end of this month about returning to their former homes. Those who do not return will have their council tenancies terminated. Researchers say almost 3/4 of university students from London will be from ethnic minorities by the end of the next decade. The analyst, based on demographic changes and university entry rates, shows 27% of students from London will be white, down from 37% at present. White students will still be the biggest ethnic group, followed by 21% from African background, up from 17%. Londoners have high rates of university entry, with almost 1 in 5 of all students across the UK coming from the city. More news stories lined up right after a short break.
Stay with us. British Prime Minister Theresa May appealed directly to fellow European Union leaders on Wednesday to drop unacceptable Brexit demands that she said could rip Britain apart, urging the bloc to respond in kind to her serious and workable plan.
They listened politely for a few minutes but said afterwards that a stalemate on the Irish border was unbroken. Though some EU diplomats detected a cracking of ice around the spectacular summit dinner table laid in the Salzburg theatre, used to film a dramatic escape finale in the film The Sound of Music. After winner's schnitzel and 4 hours of wrangling over Europe's migrant problem, May was given the floor and tried to win over her 27 peers by effectively asking them what they would do if they were asked to agree a legal separation of their countries. Something she says the EU is asking for by insisting Northern Ireland might stay under EU economic rules. Maintaining a united front that refuses to let May bypass the negotiations run by Michael Barnier of the European Commission, they did not respond to her. They will discuss the issue among themselves over lunch on Thursday, setting what Barnier hopes can be a path to a final deal in 2 months.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel called on Wednesday for friendliness and respect in negotiation between Britain and the European Union, seeking close ties after Brexit.
I hope that we have an exit that takes place in a good atmosphere, with great respect for each other, and that in certain areas, very close cooperation is possible, namely in the areas of security, domestic and also foreign security, Merkel told reporters as she arrived for a leaders' summit. Luxembourg's Prime Minister Xavier Bettel said no Brexit deal would be a catastrophe for Britain and that it would be bad for the European Union. Bettel added that not only the EU needed to move, I believe the UK too still has to move. With just over 6 months to go until Britain leaves the EU, both sides are keen to secure some kind of deal on future relations before the end of the year to avert a disruptive cliff edge exit from EU agreements and institutions.
Former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak arrived at the Kuala Lumpur High Court to face a total of 21 money laundering charges over a $681 million transfer into his bank account, money that allegedly came from scandal-linked state fund 1MDB.
The money laundering charges include 9 counts of receiving illegal proceeds, 5 counts of using illegal proceeds, and 7 counts of transferring the proceeds to other entities. Deputy Inspector General of Police Noor Rashid Ibrahim said in a statement, case against Najib is linked to the disappearance of billions of dollars from heavily indebted State Fund 1 Malaysia Development Berhad. Najib, who founded 1MDB in 2009, has faced intense scrutiny since unexpectedly losing a general election in May to Mahathir Mohamad, who reopened investigations into allegations that billions of dollars were stolen from the fund.
The US and Indian soldiers on Thursday participated in a joint military exercise to sharpen their tactical and technical skills in countering insurgency and militancy in a United Nations peacekeeping scenario in northern hilly region of Ranikhet in Uttarakhand state.
During the exercise Yudh Abhyas 2018, soldiers were seen trekking, climbing rocks and boulders to destroy bunkers, soldiers, and later rappelling down straight cliffs.
When the soldiers get out and train with General Singh's soldiers, will learn their techniques, tactics, and procedures to do this most difficult of tactical tasks, which is to assault uphill on some of the most difficult terrain imaginable against a defended enemy. And so this scenario truly favors the defender, and as you saw in that execution, this is what right looks like.
Major General William Graham of US Army further said that during the exercise the soldiers faced difficult challenge in tough mountainous terrain. Meanwhile, the Indian Army's Major General Kabindra Singh said during the exercise soldiers of the two armies exchanged their arms and ammunitions as part of the joint exercise.
इस एक्सरसाइज में जो हमारे हिंदुस्तान की फौज के सिपाही हैं वो अमेरिका के हथियारों का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं और अमेरिका के जो सोल्जर्स हैं वो हमारे हथियारों का इस्तेमाल करके कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं। तो इससे जो है आपसी मेल मिलाप बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा।
The joint military exercise comes week after India and US signed the Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement during the visit of US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to New Delhi.
Facebook and Twitter face sanctions unless they comply with European consumer rules by the end of the year, the EU said, as its regulators continue to their crackdown on US social media giants over privacy concerns.
Online platforms have come under fire in Europe because of their dominance and anti-competitive business practices, resulting in hefty fines handed down to some companies.
Airbnb will also make changes to terms and conditions. For instance, it will be clear that consumers can use all the legal remedies available, and in particular their right to sue a host in case of personal harm or other damages. If you remember, these were our two main troubles which we saw in their contracts: uncertainty in the price and the situation when in fact their contract asked the consumers to give up their rights, which must be guaranteed by the law.
In contrast, Airbnb made the necessary changes after being told to do so 3 months ago. European Justice Commissioner Vera Jourova said,
"Not many people have clarity on how Facebook uses personal data of its users and how it works with third parties like apps, games or quiz creators. Not many people know that Facebook has made available their data to third parties, or that, for instance, it holds full copyright about any picture or content you put on it even after you delete your account."
Jourova gave US social media giant Facebook until the end of the year to comply with EU consumer rules or face sanctions. Facebook said it had already made a number of changes and would continue to cooperate with the authorities.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe won a ruling party leadership vote, setting him on track to become Japan's longest-serving premier and try to cement his legacy, including by revising the pacifist constitution.
Abe, who surged back to power in 2012 promising to reboot the economy and strengthen defense, defeated former defense minister Shigeru Ishiba in the election for Liberal Democratic Party chief, winning 553 votes to Ishiba's 254. If Abe stays in office through November 2019, he will have exceeded the 2,886 days marked by Taro Katsura in the early 20th century. Abe is assured the premiership because his LDP-led coalition controls parliament.
Russia and Turkey told a weekly meeting of the UN Syria Humanitarian Task Force in Geneva that they will still working out details of their plan to avert a major battle in Syria's Idlib province, but were optimistic.
Aguiland said he was relieved by the deal struck on Monday, which he described as coming at the 11th hour after fears of mass casualties if an offensive was carried out in the town, now home to about 3 million people.
We're hopeful that also this is really signaling and that the big war was averted in Idlib. But what I'm saying to you is that I see a great potential for a lot of fighting, because one is saying we will go after the so-called terrorists, the listed organizations, the radicals. And we're concerned for the civilians in these areas.
UN humanitarian advisor Jan Egeland said, "We had invited Russia and Turkey to explain to us what's in the deal."
More news stories lined up right after a short break.
Stay with us.
4 puppies were killed by a cobra snake, even though the mother dog went into a fierce fight with the venomous serpent in eastern India's Odisha.
The incident occurred in Bhadrak district of the state under the staircase in a house where the dog with its 7 puppies had taken shelter. When the snake slithered in and attacked the puppies, the mother dog launched a scathing attack on the venomous snake and kept barking with her full strength until people took notice. A snake catcher, Arif Beg, said that the cobra was 6 feet long and it was a hard task to catch hold of it, as Beg had to stay alert about his own life while trying to catch the snake, but before he could finally get hold of the cobra, it had already killed 4 pups. The destruction of wild habitats in the country is one of the main reasons for humans and animals coming into conflict. Reptiles and wild animals like elephants, leopards often stray into inhabited areas in India in search of food.
For most people, sharing a living room with just 1-2 meter long alligator is the stuff of nightmares. Philip Gilliatt has 2.
Named Ali and Gator, they stalk the 67-year-old Frenchman's house along with hundreds of other creatures, including some of nature's most maligned species, from rattles, snakes to tarantulas. Over 2 decades, the herpetologist, the technical word for a reptile enthusiast, has amassed a collection 400 strong in his unassuming house in a village on the banks of the river Loire. A cobra lives in the coffee table, a 50 kg tortoise roams the garden, and at night Ali, the dominant alligator of the pair, sleeps with Gillett while Gator keeps watch at the door. Gillett says alligators were rescued from a leather farm, but most of the animals are pets. They have outstayed their welcome, donated or abandoned. After a childhood spent in the Central African Republic, Gillett became a hunter's guide, and knickknacks including antlers and animal heads mounted on plaques dot the walls of his home. He says he has all the necessary permits to keep and transport the animals, and that the most dangerous snakes are kept in a room behind 2 sets of doors.
That's all from the news studio. For more details, you can visit our website 92NewsHDUK.TV.
Keep watching 92 News HD UK.